You are a vessel of energy, and energy is infinitely existent. Beyond this realm of existence, energy can never die, only transmute into something entirely new. And if you are an embodiment of this immense potentiality, then you can never truly die. The end of life, death as we say, can be a scary concept for many to comprehend. But the end of this chapter is only the prequel to the next story that is being written by your soul. You currently exist in a three-dimensional place, but within your imagination resides a metaphysical higher dimensional space, and it is this area where you operate as a higher singularity. Perhaps when we die, it is your ego which completes its mission, and that ego which has been formulated through life experience is simply not you. You are the observer of humanity, and humanity is just one piece of the great life puzzle that is definably and
Welcome back. Today we will be discussing PTSD and CPTSD. If I break it down for clarification, that's post-traumatic stress disorder and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. The difference between the two is PTSD is one singular traumatic event, and complex post-traumatic stress disorder is over a series of time, a series of unfortunate traumatic events that not just upset you, but pose actual risk to your life. And we've either gone through this ourselves, or we have watched someone go into the state of inevitable, which is like oftentimes disassociative to what's going on in the present, because our neural pathways are basically setting up our brain to believe we're reliving that experience. So therefore, there are 4 basic symptoms of how this can show up. And I'll break it down like this: intrusion, avoidance, negative thoughts or ideas, being on edge, hypervigilant, hyperactive. Those are the 4 basic symptoms. If I gotta break them down, intrusion will be just a recollection of a memory that pops into your head. These are all traumatic. Avoidance would be like something I'm going through right now, where I just was in a major car accident by a drunk driver who hit me, and now I feel myself experiencing avoidance because I don't want to drive, right? Negative thoughts or ideas could be an example. Could be somebody who just always thinks something bad is about to happen, like things are too good to be true. You know what I'm saying? Or they might feel like they have a short life term expectancy. On edge and hyperactive was something that I wanted to take a dive into a little bit more, and go into how being hyper vigilant and hyperactive is something that we do and that's common, but in the ways that this was highlighted was like, okay, do you have a tendency to like be aware, hyper aware of verbal and non-verbal cues of someone that you're having an interaction with? Okay, and let's say this person is beginning to be upset. Could be a romantic partner, but this is in a domestic violence toxic situation, and you're so hyper vigilant because you've had to become aware of the other person's actions, and you can sense in a voice when they start talking about something if they're becoming a little too assertive or aggressive in their voice, or are they leaning into me when they talk, or are they leaning into me a little too close into my personal space? Like, this kind of hyperactivity, hyper vigilant activity is more common than we thought that would be. And you know, even when the situation is on the other foot and that person doesn't have to be aggressive or assertive, someone could be completely calm, but because of the situation that you're in and based on the past, on how these situations have played out, you're feeling like, well, why is this person so calm? That's not normal. I should be in danger, almost to the point to where you could becoming obsessive of a situation that really don't even pose danger to you. That's how big the hypervigilant symptom of PTSD and CPTSD can be. And so I found that a way to treat the traumatic stress disorders we're discussing, one of them is called EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Okay, and this is a trauma treatment and even performance enhancing technique that some people can practice the desensitization part by themselves, but it's mostly recommended with a therapist. And you know, with a therapist, there are the techniques in this that help your brain basically reset itself. So yeah, you, as you doing this therapy and you thinking of the traumatic event, your body is producing all the same neural pathways that it did as you were experiencing the event. So what this therapy does is it comes up with a way for the brain to reset how to think about the event. Because, okay, so I only recorded 4 different ones that I was able to research, and basically I seen that you could use a light bar that kind of go like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and your eyes are following this. And usually the therapist is doing this to get you to follow. Then there's something called butterfly tapping.